All right, today's lesson is lesson 3.4, and we're going to be solving equations containing decimals. So, when we were doing algebraic practice before, we were solving equations, but they did not have decimals. They were just whole numbers. So today we're going to do it with decimals. So, example 1a, we're going to just jump right in. So example 1a gives us the equation s minus 3.84 equals 7.2. And we're going to do this problem the same way we would solve this problem if these numbers were not decimals, but rather whole numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to isolate s, and in order to do that, we need to get rid of this 3.84. So we're going to add 3.84 to this side, and what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side of the equation. So we're also over here going to add 3.84. Now, this negative 4 plus 4 is 0, negative 8 plus 8 is 0, negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So we've canceled that number out. On this side, imaginary 0 there, 0 and 4 is 4, 2 and 8 is 10. Follow your rules of decimals for adding and subtracting. And 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So we know that s equals 11.04. Fairly simple. As long as you remember what you need to do on one side, you have to do on the other side of the equation. Okay, let's do example 1b. In example 1b, we have y plus 20.51 equals 26. So now, what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. And what we want to do on this side of the equation is isolate y. And the only way we're going to do that is if we subtract 20.51. But if we do it on this side, we have to do it on this side. So over here, we're going to subtract 20.51. Okay? So this is going to cancel out. 1 minus 1 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Decimal point down. 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. And that leaves us with y. So what does y equal? Well, we have to do some borrowing. It becomes a 10. It becomes a 9. That becomes a 5. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring your decimal down. 5 minus 0 is 5. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So what does y equal? Y equals 5.49. Okay, so that's for adding and subtracting, solving for the equation. Let's do an example of both multiplying and dividing when we're solving for the equation. Okay, so go down to example 2a. They give us w over 3.9 equals 1.2. Now we want to isolate w. Well, the only way we're going to be able to get w by itself is to multiply this fraction by 3.9. Okay, so we're going to multiply that. But if we do that on this side, then we also have to do that on the other side of the equation. What it's going to do over here is it's going to cancel this out, and we're going to be left with W. What it's going to do over here is leave us with a multiplication problem. So 9 times 2, 18, carry your 1, 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10, 3 times 2, oh, we forgot our 10 spot, put in the 0, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, add those together, 8, 6, 4, where do we put our decimal? Remember, when we're multiplying with decimals, we count the decimal places and the factors, and then that's how many decimal places we have to have in our answer. So there's 1 plus 1, so 2 decimal places in our answer, so 1, 2, and we can write down here, W equals 4.68. Okay, so you will be in your homework adding decimals, subtracting decimals, multiplying with decimals, and of course, dividing with decimals. So we have one more example where we are going to be dividing with decimals. Example 2b, we have 4 equals 1.6c. Now we want to get c by itself because that's what we're solving for. In order to do that, we divide all of this by 1.6. But we also have to do that over here. Divide that by 1.6. This cancels out, leaving us over here a c. Over here we have a 4 divided by 1.6. When we divide with decimals, remember we need to move our decimal point over. And we have to do that over here as well, which gives us this. So 16 goes into 40 how many times? Well, let's try 2. Let's start with 2. So over here we have 16 times 2. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 32. So obviously that is not going, we're not going to be able to add any more 16s into 40. Now, we subtract that, and we get 8. We bring our 0 down. And I don't know if you remember or not, but from prior lessons, we had an equation similar. And we tested out what 16 times 5 was. So 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Okay, so C equals 2.5. Okay, so in your homework, you are going to be solving equations. Some of them are going to be adding and subtracting decimals, and some of them are going to be multiplying and dividing decimals. It's your job to look and make sure that you are choosing the correct way to solve for that equation. So there is no think and discuss question for this unit, so go ahead and get started on your homework.